Coda to the southeast portion of the map. It's game number 1 of the winner's match, best of 3. Representing Psystorm Gaming, our red Terran player, this is Intense.
And his opponent spawning up in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is the green Zerg player. It is the GiantGnome.
Representing one step ahead, and there's like infinite puns and play on words that could be made in this game, from things are intense to is the Zerg player actually one step ahead? Well, in this particular case, he's going for that same 15 hatch opening, but, you know, kind of the nice thing is I believe it was 12 racks, 12 gas. So this is exactly what Zero did in the previous series, and hey, you know what? The GiantGnome was able to win against this, you know, very same, very early opener. Of course, Intense is a very different player than Zero. Fear Dragon, word on the street is that you have some experience with Intense, maybe even some pre-game experience.
Yeah, so I was talking to Intense. I was saying, hey, you know, how you feeling about going into this game? And he kind of said, oh, you know, I'm 100% confident. Why do you ask? And I said, oh, you know, I just want to get a feel for how this is going to go. I think that Intense, for a lot of people, is going to be the favorite moving into this particular series. And he was saying, okay, well, yeah, my game plan is I'm going to get into a winning position, and if he doesn't GG out, I'm going to start building battlecruisers and ghosts and just humiliate him. That's how confident Intense is feeling about this game.
Wow. That's... I love the description. Fear Dragon, you'll be able to back me up on this one. But I love the description of, I'm going to get into a winning position, and if he doesn't GG out, it's one of those things that it sounds very similar to what casters say when they're like, I want to say something. This player is in a winning position.
I'm gonna quote this as I'm paraphrasing to make it sound more awesome. Intense didn't use these exact words, but
dang it,
I know what he meant. Okay, I know what he meant. I have a mental connection with Intense, and you can already see that he's doing some great damage right now. This is kind of that crippling early game pressure that he wants to start off with. Not really. I mean, one Reaper is just kind of a scouting Reaper, but it's already killing off a couple of Zorglings, put on some nice pressure.
You are... I think we have to call like hashtag caster bias with this. He kills one Ling with a Reaper, and you're just like, man, it's all ogre. Oh. Just go home, GiantGnome. Get your giant nerd self out of here.
No, yeah, no, I mean you're definitely carrying a good point right there, man. It's a moderate amount of like kind of early scouting information, a little bit of harassment, but nothing super serious.
Certainly. Technically, he didn't actually see the other gas. I mean, he did see the spawning pool, and it was wiggling, so he's like, well, either you've hacked the game and are somehow doing this without gas, or you've taken just one gas as far as he knows. And, I mean, he can be relatively certain that it is just that single gas. Now, thus far, things are looking actually pretty similar for the GiantGnome. Pretty similar, that is, to some of the previous games that we saw of him. Yeah. In that previous series, Game 1 against Zero, was actually on Coda. He ended up losing that game, but he's opened up very, very similarly.
Oh, man, but I love this opening from Intense. I mean, just the handful of Marines. It's a moderately small amount of Marines, but look at this. He's going to get a free Overlord. This is actually a really big deal. Look at GiantGnome's current supply. Oh, no, the Overlord just barely gets away. That would have supply blocked GiantGnome just a little bit. It would have kind of skewed where he wanted his resources and delayed any kind of defensive measures. And Intense, he's able to do a little bit of pressure over here, but the Marines are the added DPS to potentially take out this hatchery.
Or just kill the second Overlord, which doesn't quite supply block him like the first Overlord would have. One queen is definitely going to be going down, and actually, all three of these queens may end up being eliminated. These Lings going to be rallied over here to try and deal with this. Marines finally going down. This one Reaper is really the standing Rax unit that is finally left, and this is going to push this attack away. 2 queens down, and GiantGnome is not one of those players who by default builds 16 queens, so he's going to have to rebuild those, but for now, he's looking at just more and more drones.
Yeah, right now, it looks like it's going to be okay for GiantGnome. He actually did a pretty decent job of defending against that after all the other stuff was going on, because now he also has his Zergling run by going on the other side of the map. He kills off a couple of those workers, although, actually, wait a second, it only kills off 2 workers. That's a lot less damage than I anticipated.
Widowmine in the main base, 1 kill. Very sad in comparison to what it could have done. However, Intense, he's also moving out on the map, again, with those Hellions and the Reaper. He's looking to do a bit more poking damage.
Yeah, and with those queens being lost earlier on for a Giant Gnome, I mean, he has to make that decision of, okay, well, the pressure is done. I guess it's now the time that I turn up and Intense is like, actually, no, this is where I come back in with those Hellions and continue to put on more and more pressure. And he might even just go for a big run by into the main base, depending on what he feels Giant Gnome might have been up to. Oh my god, that Widowmine got 12 additional kills.
Ooh, wow.
The damage isn't even done yet. There's no units out for Giant Gnome, and the Hellions are coming in.
Hellions going to be getting some more shots off on the drones, raising that workers killed count even higher. 17 drones have gone down throughout the entirety of this game. And you counter that with the 2 SCVs that have been lost by Intense. He's even got his Pult Viking roaming the map, hunting Overlords one after another. And Ruby, this is the opportunity. There's that supply block that you were referencing earlier on. The fortunate thing for the Giant Gnome is he's already got the 14 roaches about to pop. So that supply block and not immediately stopping him from building those roaches. And this is similar to what he did in game number 3 of that first series. But the problem is he's taken a lot of damage, and it's significantly later than it would have hit in that game number 3. Or game number... Yeah, game 3.
These roaches have got a lot of work cut out for them. I don't think that they're getting paid enough. Because look at this. The Hellion's going to run back in. Intense just trying to force some sort of defensive reaction from Giant Gnome, pull those roaches back. And if he doesn't, then he just takes more and more economic damage. But at this point, I think Giant Gnome is just going to try to do absurd amounts of economic damage to Intense. He has to break in, kill off these bunkers, start getting into the mineral lines, kill off a massive amount of FCVs. I don't know if this Roach Force is big enough to do that, though.
It shouldn't be big enough. Do you believe in miracles is the question you have to ask, because for this Roach attack to really win the game, which keep in mind, 54 SCVs, well, the Banelings could win the game. It's still a dire situation, but keep in mind, 25 drones to 54 SCVs. You count that in as triple orbital as well for Intense. He doesn't have to win right now. He has to survive and not take game-ending amounts of damage. A lot of the Banelings going to be wasted on the supply depot wall as the focus fire is good enough to eliminate a couple of the Banelings.
Oh, that Widowmine!
SCVs going down, and the Widowmine, as you mentioned, 4 Baneling kills. The Roaches crashing upon the rocks, that is these Moraines, and they're just absolutely shredded.
Now there are more Zerglings rallying across the map. I mean, is this really going to be enough? There's a decent number of these Marines, and +1 is going to be finishing up in 5 or 6 seconds. There's no way that this can work. Oh god, okay, Giant Gnome. Do you believe in a thing called drone?
We know Roddy believes in a thing called Roach, but this man, the Giant Gnome, believes in a thing called drone. If this is not humiliation, I'm not sure if the battle cruisers will actually humiliate him any further. Widowmines, well, they could be drilled down. I love TVZ. GG. The Wings of Liberty beta in the north on Vani Research Station. We have a 6 pool. I mean, we have, representing one step ahead, the Giant Gnome.
And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom side of the map, Vani Research Station, is the red Terran player representing Team Storm Gaming, currently up 1-0. It is Intense. Cyber, this is like an enormous mind game, okay? Because think about it like this. In a normal 6 pool versus a Terran player is already an enormous risk, because if they just wall off, you lose. Like, just, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You should just lose unless the Terran player makes an enormous mistake. On Vani Research Station, it's even worse, because if they get the wall up, they have an in-base natural expansion where if you try and transition out and try and do some sort of contain, it's even worse. But like this is as all in as you can get. I think this is a good choice from the Giant Gnome.
I believe there is no literal way to be more all in than this. The base is open. There is no extra supply depot, and
this is the worst possible situation for a Giant Gnome. I think Giant Gnome may have even been hoping for a CC first, but the Reaper is going to mean that as long as Intense takes out all of the drones, And look at this! All the Zerglings are dead. This was mistimed by a GiantGnome. The Zerglings need to be attacking with the drones, I think.
That's what you would expect in this particular case. The drone's going to be a little bit late. There's the mule dropping down, which always reminds you, hey, you know, if you kill absolutely everything with the Terran player and he still has that orbital, then he still wins the game. Intense is not a player to lose a Reaper to slowlings off creep or to drones. This guy can control, you know, better than some sort of Bronze League guy. And goodbye, drones. They're going to be taken out slowly, one by one. Well, it's 5 SCVs. We got the last pair of lings going to be heading out on the map. And there we go. 0 drones remain. 1 army supply. It's in 2 lings on the other side of the map. He's literally killing his own hatchery. He's not even going to quit. Oh, the GiantGnome. You are a devious fellow.
This is ringing of kind of frustration to me. I know that GiantGnome probably has, you know, he's probably been joking around a little bit, but we saw at the end of the last game, he's kind of saying, you know, ZVT, of course, like, oh, this matchup.
Oh, the ultimate BM! Shout out to LCS, League of Legends Saber. I formally request that this man be banned from all StarCraft forever. Of course, I'm kidding. Please don't take that seriously. But Intense with a quick 2-0.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.